What's up, my fellow creators? Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me for another Topics with Becky, coming down the rabbit hole. This is just my regular series and topics, so please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, set that notification bell down below. Make sure you check out the description box as well. I just want to talk to you guys a short video on obsession of love. I know I've talked about twin flames and everything like that. However, I do want to bring up, I feel like a lot of people are relying on love because there's an empty void inside each one of us that we don't know how to fill. And the reason we don't know how to fill it is because we've been told we're incomplete. And in being told that we're incomplete, we have to find our other half in order to be complete. And so I just want to remind everybody that no matter where you are in life and no matter how much of a broken heart you're carrying in this time, you are whole and complete as you are, and you are perfect and enough and worthy in this now moment as you are, even if you don't feel that way. Okay, oftentimes we're too busy beating ourselves up for doing the wrong things in life, and oftentimes what we're not realizing is that our spirit is still guiding us, even if it's subconsciously through life, creating situations to help us grow and become more expanded in our consciousness, right? Rather than focusing on who will I be with, maybe you should focus on being your highest best self. And I know a lot of people are saying this in this moment, but to truly work on this is something that takes a lot of courage. And it takes a lot of courage seeing that I'm not going to be complete if I have somebody in my life. I'm already complete as I am. Right? And so many people are scared to be alone. That's why divorce is at an all-time high. That's why separation is like, the numbers are staggering. That's why people are falling out from one another. They're not with the one that they first thought they were going to be with, right? And then you have other couples that maybe are meant to be together, but they're not fighting for it because they feel like they're not enough. So I bring this video to you guys to ask you guys, what is it that you can do to begin to feel like you're enough? Have you looked yourself in the mirror and said, I am enough? The first time I did this was like when I said I love me. I cried. I felt like I wasn't. And there are plenty of things that I said to myself that weren't nice, that weren't kind. It was really abrasive towards my own soul and spirit, like I wasn't worthy of even having life. And you think about suicide, right? Why does suicide happen? Because suicide is one of those things saying, I'm not enough. I fought with that at a point in time. In fact, I almost committed suicide at one point in time, till I realized that I was leaving behind people who might actually be broken by it. And the reason I considered it is because I was raped. Okay, and this is a heavy topic, and this is a very delicate topic that people don't like to discuss. And I understand, because everybody wants to pretend that everything is rainbows and butterflies when it's not. Just because you choose to go on this positive path doesn't mean that you didn't have a life before you got here. It doesn't mean that you had to trudge through the mud and the trenches and the war to get into this place. What it means is that I'm tired of letting the outside world control the inside me. You know, I've had many people tell me I don't understand what it is to hurt and to have pain and to feel sorrow. And I'm not here to try and convince anybody of that, but I'm just saying, if you don't know a person's story, don't try to pin them as somebody who hasn't been through it. You know, I heard a long time ago, and it stuck with me, those with the biggest smile oftentimes are hiding the biggest terrors, right? So thinking about this, rather than letting all your terrors dictate the way that you live your life, and relying on another person to fill that void for you, how can you begin to fill that void for yourself? Well, it comes down to one thing: beginning to see yourself through the eyes of the divine with unconditional love. Unconditional love means that no matter what you do no wrong, right? And when I say you do no wrong, these are very extreme examples that I bring up here, but imagine this: a murderer. Okay, and these are very extreme examples, but I bring these examples up because they need to be talked about. And sometimes it's when you give an extreme example, like, well, if that's how the divine sees that, then how come they can't see me with eyes of love? And that's what I had to ask myself. You figure a murderer. The divine has given us free will. We can choose what to do with our lives, right? As men and women, we get to choose what we do with our lives. And the divine doesn't love us any less, no matter what we do. And you can say, oh, well, God said it's wrong. God said it's bad. At the end of the day, whatever you believe, still God loves every one of us. Source loves every one of us. We are created in the image of Source. So that means that we are the children of Source, regardless of what path we choose to have in life. And oftentimes our lives are product of how we were brought up, right? And so you figure somebody that's a murderer, the divine still loves the murderer unconditionally because the murderer has chosen to make a bad choice by what society says is bad, right? I'm not here to say murder is good or bad. I'm not. I'm trying to give an example, all right? And so as people, we're so set on the duality. Well, that's right and that's wrong. This is bad. This is good. You know, we're so stuck on that we can't even see each other as just humans in pain. Right? And so I am speaking on a situation that I know it hurts a lot of people because it's like, well, you don't know what that's like. I'm not here to say I do and I don't. I'm here to help give you examples on beginning to expand your own consciousness into a state of true unconditional love. And unconditional love means to love and to accept without conditions. Well, isn't it putting a condition on when you say, I can't love a murderer? I can't love a molester. I can't love a rapist. I can't do that. How do you know you don't already? People are really good at hiding secrets. How do you know you don't already? So it's like just because you know it's happened, now you have to put stipulations on the love towards that person, and they don't get the right to be treated as a human. At the end of the day, they're still human. Okay, and I'm not saying that this has anything to do with justice, because justice is completely different. Okay, unconditional love is seeing and accepting that person as they are, knowing that there's nothing that you can do to change them. There's nothing that you can do to change the person who molested those kids. There's nothing that you can do to change the person who murdered those people. There's nothing that you can do to change the rapists who raped those women or who raped those men. There's nothing that you can do except to accept them. You have to accept them, whether you want to or not. If you choose not to, you're putting conditions on the ability to love yourself unconditionally. Because it means that there's going to be some part of yourself that you find unacceptable. And in finding a part of yourself that's unacceptable, it means that you get the right to judge others. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? It's our ability to judge others only comes from the inner unacceptance that we feel. So when you learn to see these people with eyes of love, it doesn't mean that you believe what they did was right or wrong. It means that you see them and say, okay, I have to accept it as it is, because there's nothing that I can do to change that. Putting them on death row doesn't change what they did. Putting them in prison doesn't change what they did. It's already done. The past is the past. But yet your acceptance of them can help them heal, because you're letting go of that need for right and wrong within yourself, the dualities of life. We live in such a dualistic world, right? Number 2 shows duality. It shows good, bad, right, wrong, yes, no, happy, sad, fear, love, right? Like these things, it shows it. But what if there's only one thing, and that's really love, and the rest of it is just because we think there needs to be a label? We think we have to put our opinions on it. But I'll tell you, if you didn't grow up in the situation that you grew up in, maybe you might not think the same way. You know, and I'll bring this back to a story that I saw a long time ago that really tore me up. And it really, when I watched this video, I sat and I cried and I cried and I cried because it broke my heart. But there was nothing that I could do about it. It was a video of monkeys. Okay, and there was a baby monkey that was getting molested by one of the male adult monkeys, and he was holding on to his mother and screaming and crying, and the mother wasn't really doing anything. It was just kind of like, probably because that adult male was very aggressive and probably would really hurt the mother if she tried anything, okay? Like, and this may be a trigger for some people, and I really apologize, but if you can bear with me, listen to what I have to say. So this monkey, it keeps molesting this little monkey, and the monkey is running for his life, holding onto his mom, and the mom is just walking away. She's not like trying to defend the baby or anything. She's just really trying to walk away from the situation. This is in nature. So it goes on, and I'm crying my eyes out, right? It's only like a 3-minute video, and I'm sobbing my eyes out because I just think it's horrible. I mean, what I'm watching to me is horrible, okay? And I feel like the vast majority of people would also feel the same way. But at the same time, who's to tell nature what's right from wrong? Nature is just nature, right? And I remember reading the comments, and the people in the comments were like, why didn't the cameraman do anything? Like, why didn't the cameraman go and stop that? Why didn't the cameraman step in? And it's like, honestly, if the cameraman had stepped in for that one time, what would it have been for that baby monkey the next time? Because you don't believe in it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Just because you have such an opinion on it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Just because you think it's wrong doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And equally to all those things, it doesn't mean that it changes it. When we stop giving fight to the things that we feel are so wrong, they begin to lose that weight that they have. And I only know this because I've had to do this so many times in my life. And one time was with the rape. I had to forgive those that were involved. And in forgiving those that were involved, it didn't mean that what they did was right. Again, the duality of things. It means that I released myself from the emotional cage that I had built around myself revolving this act. If it happens in nature, how is it not going to happen with humans who have minds and thoughts, and they act on these mental thoughts, right? Like suicide. Why do people commit suicide? Because they really cannot get out of their own head. Because we live in a society that says, if you're wrong, and they put a label on what's right. But nobody even fits into that. So this is asking you to stop putting so much weight on love and others outside of you. Yes, it started off as love, but you have to understand the depth of this topic. It's saying that I need someone to complete me, but you are already whole as you are, no matter the life that you've lived. For everybody, I want to say to those that feel like they've done something that is unforgivable, you have to start by forgiving yourself. You can maybe ask for those forgiveness from those that were involved, but at the end of the day, the only one that matters is forgiving yourself. Because when we forgive ourselves, that allows our higher self to come in and show us the divine light that lives within each and every one of us. Whether you see a person as good or bad, they still possess the same life force within them that brought you here. And we believe in starseeds so much right now. What's to say that those people who are turned sour aren't also starseeds that just don't know how to control it because nobody's taught them? And just because you say, well, I would never do that, doesn't mean that another person wouldn't. Because in life, and we live in this dualistic world, without good, there cannot be bad. And without bad, there cannot be good. It exists. This is about us coming together as a whole and bringing ourselves into the middle and understanding that there is only one thing, and that is acceptance. Because in acceptance, you take away the pressure of it being right and wrong, and rather just seeing it as it is in this moment. Nothing more. Nothing more. That goes with the people you're involved with, the family you're involved with, your person. You're a person as a whole. Me. Right? With self. Can you accept self in entirety? Can you be with yourself and say, it's not good or bad, I am? That's why I went so deep with this topic. And that's why I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this stuff, because there are deep triggers that are involved in this. And I know that I trigger a lot of people. And I've triggered a lot of people my entire life because I'm here to help people think about the things that they're not willing to think about on their own because it doesn't come to mind. This is a deep video. And I appreciate any and all who stuck it out with me because this is a deep topic. And I was really kind of frightened to bring this up, but I realized I can't shy away from the things that scare me anymore. It means I have to face them and I have to step in and jump in full force so that I can do them. Stop relying on someone to bring you happiness and begin with self-acceptance. And part of that is so that you can learn to accept the world and see everything, including yourself, with eyes of unconditional love. Go forth boldly, my fellow creators, and courageously find creative ways to rise above in life, laughter, and love until we meet each other again. Mwah. Peace out. I love y'all. Bye.